So, welcome to today's session, everybody. Can we all see my screen, please, before I proceed?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you very much. So, let's quickly proceed to our topic today on chart patterns. Now, over some weeks ago, we started something on technical analysis, right? And we discussed briefly, or yeah, we discussed briefly, firstly, on candlestick anatomy and candlestick pattern. Though we had another topic again on candlestick anatomy and candlestick pattern, where we were able to dive into uh, both topics and we explained what these topics entails, how you'll be able to use them to trade the markets as a beginner, because these are actually the basic technical analysis. Yeah, the basic aspects that you need to know when you are kickstarting your uh, technical analysis journey. So today, welcome to another episode on this learning series, and it's going to be an interesting one. So I want us all to just follow up as I'll be explaining some things to us, and I want us to be jotting down and following up as I'll be explaining. I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be showing you how these things work. Now, when we talk about chart patterns, you'll be thinking of, oh, what are we talking about when we mean chart patterns? The English word patterns means how things are being formed. Now, when we talk about charts is just these candlesticks that you can see on my screen. Yeah, these are candlestick and these are price actions. So this everything we have here that I'm pointing at is what my charts. So quickly, let's move on. Now, what are chart patterns? Chart patterns are, we can call them visual representations of price movements in what? In the financial market. Now, when we talk about price movements, what are we talking about, or what do we mean? Everything here that you can see on my screen are actually what? Price movements. You can see everything. All these candlesticks here are what? Price movements, and they are being formed in patterns. You can see here we have a pattern here. Look at this. It's also another pattern on its own. So quickly moving on, I said chart patterns are just visual representation of price movements in the financial market. And these visual representations, traders or market analysts use this pattern to actually identify potential trading opportunities, and they also use it to make what decisions, either to what to buy or to sell a particular asset. Now on the channel, you can see someone was like they should long or is it buy a particular uh token or a coin yesterday. Probably there might be a pattern or something that particular person has seen before he entered that position and made some profits. Now, chart patterns are usually formed either by connection of what candlesticks or some price highs, lows, or some trend lines, whatever. So quickly, let's dive into our charts where I'll be talking about some common chart patterns. Yeah, common chart patterns that you know. But before I actually dive into it, I'll be listing some uh, very popular chart patterns. Firstly, we have this very popular chart pattern that we know. It's called head and shoulder pattern. Head and shoulders pattern. And we also have the double top and double bottom pattern. Double top and double bottom. So quickly, we'll be talking about these two patterns I actually listed. Though we have many type of chart patterns. We have the bearish flag, we have the bullish flag, different patterns, but we are going to be talking about just these two tonight. Now, what is head and shoulder pattern? Now, When we are talking about head and shoulder pattern, you would understand that when we just talk about head and shoulder pattern, the first thing that comes to your mind is your own head and your both shoulders. Yeah, your head and your both shoulders. Now, this particular pattern, what does it mean or how does it form? When we are talking about the head and shoulder pattern, this is how it's formed. Yeah, something of this nature. This is what the head and shoulder pattern. This is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is what? This is the right shoulder. Now, this particular pattern, what does it indicate? This head and shoulder pattern suggests a reversal from an uptrend to a what? To a downtrend. Now, we know how an uptrend is, or when we say price is bullish. When price is bullish, it means price is actually going up, right? Yeah, this is how it's formed. Then we have what? The left shoulder, price comes down, creates the what? The head, then creates something like this, a right shoulder, and we have a drop in price. You can see the explanation. It's saying a reversal from what? An uptrend to downtrend. And this is what? This is an uptrend. From an uptrend, we proceed to a what? To a downtrend. Please, if you are following, just say something. I don't know if I'm actually talking to myself.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are.
you're following. You're following.
All right, all right. So this is what the pattern is talking about, head and shoulder pattern. So quickly, I want to show you some examples of what head and shoulder pattern. It's very common in the market. Yeah, it's very common. But tonight, let me pick a particular pair that we can actually see this head and shoulder pattern. Very quick. Head and shoulder pattern. Now, when we are talking about the head and shoulder pattern, this is what an example of an head and shoulder pattern. You can see at this point that we have what an uptrend here. Yeah, price is what going up at this point. You can see the uptrend at this point. Now, if you are watching out for the uptrend, you see that this is our what? Let me mark out. Let me bring out a tool that we use to mark the head and shoulder pattern. This is what the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and did you see how it's formed? From what? From an uptrend to a downtrend, something like this. 1, 2, 3. And now I want you to understand something with this head and shoulder pattern. At times, it's not necessarily that it will form in a very accurate manner, something like this. No, at times it does not form this way. At times, the left shoulder might be bigger than the right shoulder. Yeah, you can have it as something like this, and price will go down. At times, you might have the right shoulder greater than what? The left shoulder, and this is still what? Head and shoulder pattern. It's always appearing in the market. Look at this. This is also an head and shoulder pattern. Let me bring out the tool again and show you example of what a head and shoulder pattern. Here I can call this my left shoulder, my head, my right shoulder, and boom. Can you see how effective it is from an uptrend to a what? To a downtrend? And that is how the head and shoulder pattern is formed. Now, quickly, this same head and shoulder pattern, we have another one that is called inverse head and shoulder pattern. You mean when we are talking about something that is inverse, you actually know what it means. Inverse head and shoulder pattern, the opposite of what? Head and shoulder pattern. This one is facing up, and this one is what? Is down. This is what? The inverse head and shoulder pattern, upside down. Now, the inverse head and shoulder pattern can be found in a what? In a downtrend. The head and shoulder pattern can be found in an uptrend because the head and shoulder pattern suggests what? A reversal from an uptrend to a downtrend. while the inverse head and shoulder pattern signifies or suggests a reversal from a downtrend to an uptrend. So quickly, let me show you an example of the words inverse head and shoulder pattern. Inverse head and shoulder pattern. It's always on our charts. Let me look for something very, very nice. Now, look at this. This is an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Let me bring out my head and shoulder pattern tool and I draw it out for you. This is the left shoulder. This is the head. This is the right shoulder, and boom. Can you see? After the inverse head and shoulder pattern was formed, what do we have? We have an uptrend. Same thing is going on currently on this particular pair, GBP USD. Let me show you something on the 1 hour time frame. Now this is it. This is it here, inverse head and shoulder pattern, and this would be the last example on inverse head and shoulder pattern. The left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and boom, price moved up. So that is everything on the head and shoulder pattern. And don't forget, we have the head and shoulder pattern and we have the inverse head and shoulder pattern. And what do we say about
It's 1916.
Please kindly mute your mic. So head and shoulder pattern is just talking about what? Reversal from an uptrend to a downtrend, while the inverse is suggesting what? From a downtrend to an uptrend. So quickly, let's move to the second one, which is double top and double bottom pattern. Now, when we are talking about double top and double bottom pattern, it's just talking about when you hear the word double top or bottom. Now, when we are talking about the double bottom, this is the double bottom. When we have price creating something like this, tapping into this and move. Yeah, we have something of this nature. This is what? Double bottom. We can have it like this, price tapping on this. This is what? Double bottom. And when we are talking about double top, what do we mean? It's more of this nature. This is what? A double top, and you can see the both points are touching each other. Yeah, this is what? This particular one is a double bottom. Let me label it double bottom, and this is what? A double top. Double top. Now let's quickly identify the double bottom and the double top patterns. But the double bottom is just talking about what? A reversal point also. The double bottom is talking about when price comes to a particular point, tap on it again and change its movement from what? A downtrend to an uptrend. Then this particular one is from what? An uptrend to a downtrend. More of like what? Support and what? Resistance. Though we'll get to that aspect. But we need to talk about these patterns first. Now, first of all, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Thank you very much. Now, when we are talking about the double top, now at this point, look at this. At this point here, this is what? A double top. Let me label it. Double top. Now you can see what happened here. Price came into this point, touched it the first time, came back again, touched it the second time, and it's what? It's reversing down. Very simple. Now, the other one is what? Double.
Excuse me.
Uh,
Before you go further,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
further,
Okay.
you mean these two patterns you're trying to explain, are they all showing a
Yeah.
reversal movement? That's a downward movement.
No, they are
Is
not all
that what they
showing a downward
symbolize?
movement. Now, this
Oh,
double
okay.
bottom and double top, they are different. Same thing as the head and shoulder pattern and the inverse head and shoulder pattern. You know, the inverse head and shoulder pattern is the opposite of head and shoulder pattern. The head and shoulder pattern is just signifying that from an uptrend to a downtrend, while the inverse is showing from what? From a downtrend to an uptrend. Now, this double bottom is talking about what? A potential reversal to the what? To the upside, while double top is signifying what? Potential reversal to the downside. Now, look at what happened in this scenario of double top. This one I have on my screen here. You can see that price came into this point. Look at this blue dot on my screen. Price tapped this place the first time, it came down. It went to into that point again, touching it the second time, then going down again. You can see that it's showing what? A possible reversal to the downside. Now, the scenario is different from what? From a double bottom. Now, let me show you a double bottom. Let's take, for example, this particular point is what? A double bottom. Let me label it. Double bottom. Now, see what happened here. Price already came into this point, tapped on it was the first time, went up, then came down the second time, tapping on it the second time. Then after that, what happened? We have a massive push towards to the upside. Now you can see the difference between the double top and the double bottom. They are both different. The double top is what? Showing a potential reversal to the downside, and it occurs in an uptrend, while the double bottom is what? Showing potential reversal to what? To the upside, and it occurs in a downtrend. So that is just how the double top and the double bottom pattern works, and that is how the head and shoulder patterns also works out. They are very simple. We have other patterns too. We have the likes of the flag pattern, we have the bearish flag, we have the bullish flag. When we talk about the bearish flag, we just have something like this, whereby we have price coming down and it started forming. We'll see something of this nature. Then it falls down. Then we call this a flag. This is or a rectangle pattern. This is a a bearish flag. As you know, what does bearish implies? Meaning price is is falling down when we talk about the bears. Then when we talk about bullish flag, what does bullish flag simplifies? It's just showing that we have we have something like this, and we move up. Then this is this is the bullish flag. So simple. Don't worry, we'll be talking about this in more of our learning series. But this is where I'll be stopping for today. I talked about the head and shoulder pattern. I talked about the double top and the bottom. I talked about the bullish flag and the bearish flag. So quickly, I want to take in questions from any of you if you have any questions regarding today's session about chart patterns. Any questions, feel free to drop in your questions.